It's been 13 more days since we checked our cranberry wine. Let's see how it's going, and if you can't tell by all the stuff sitting out here that's already been sanitized, I'm fairly certain this is going to get racked into our handy dandy pitcher. It is going to get back sweetened, racked from our pit. Why would I rack it into the pitcher? Never mind. Start that over. Don't need that pitcher. We will rack from our primary fermentation vessel to our secondary fermentation vessel. And I never have liked the term secondary fermentation. You're not fermenting anymore. Really should just start calling it clarification. That's where we go to let the wine or mead age and clear out naturally. Or you can use fining agents if you so choose. I have used them before. I found just the tried and true way to get it done is just time. Everyone asks, how do I get my wine to clear? Time. So, starting with our gravity reading. So we're gonna go ahead and get that business started, and all of this equipment has been sanitized. You don't see me dunking it in a container because when I just do reading or checking, I have a spray bottle pre-mixed with Star San and water that I spray all of my equipment with, because getting a whole bucket filled up for just doing a couple handful of checks can kind of be a pain, and I don't like wasting it. I only make the big bucket if I'm doing a lot, and tonight I'm not. I'm only going to do a few things here. We're going to check our specific gravity, which is really just a fancy way of saying checking the density of the must to see how much sugars have been consumed by the yeast. 0.996. Okay, so now we're gonna figure out our alcohol by volume, or ABV. How we do that, you hear me in these videos spitting out a lot of numbers that probably don't mean much to you unless you're a home brewer and you understand what I'm talking about here. So specific gravity, measuring the density of the liquid or the must that you're fermenting. It is very important that you take an original gravity and then a final gravity. Our original gravity, after I added 14 ounces of sugar to the cranberry and grape juice, was 1.082. Now, as of today, it's 0.996. So that tells me that the yeast consumed a lot of the sugar, lowering the density. I want to take 1.082, my original gravity, minus 0.996, which is my gravity today. That comes out to 0.086, otherwise known as we went through 86 points of gravity. Now we know how much sugar was consumed. Now we take 0.086 and multiply that by 131.25. That comes out to 11.28%. So approximately the ABV of my cranberry wine is now sitting at, I'll just say 11.3% or 11%. In a nutshell, that's how we're figuring out the gravity, and I think I even said when I first filmed this that I'm not shooting for a high ABV, somewhere around 10 to 11%. We nailed it. This is gonna be terrible, but you have to take a taste of it. You have to see what we're working with here. Keep in mind, this is tart cranberry juice and grape juice with no sugar, completely dry. So this is really gonna make my mouth pucker. I smell cranberry. Diboja, let's see how we did. Woo! Definitely needs some sweetness, but what I found is if you just do straight cranberry juice, it can get overpowering. So I did half cranberry, half grape, so it's not too much of a pucker on the mouthfeel, although my wife really loves, I don't know if you guys are familiar with St. James Winery. Every Thanksgiving they release their cranberry wine right here, and she loved that wine. It's been my goal over the years to replicate that and maybe make it better. Oh, good God. Woo. Yeah, that needs some sweetness. Now we're going to back sweeten. I know my sweetness level may be astronomically high to yours, or it might be lower. I still generally do like my wines and meads sweet. When I say sweet, I mean anywhere from 1.020 to 1.040, depending on the batch that it is. So now what I've got to do, I'm going to sanitize my auto siphon, which if you are thinking about getting into homebrew, you definitely need one of these. Highly recommended, almost as important to have as your hydrometer and your graduated cylinder. But I do know some people that don't do it, they just siphon it, but that's dirty, you're putting your mouth on it. I'm gonna do a time lapse here of me back sweetening, which is really just me racking into my new container, adding sugar, stirring it, taking a taste until I get to the consistency and sweetness level that I like. I'm gonna do that, and then I'll see you whenever it's done for our next step. It's racked. Next step, we need a scale. I already know what sweetness level I'm looking for. Probably a pound of sugar to this. Yes, I know, that's very sweet. That's a dessert meat, but the cranberry, the tartness and acidity of that cranberry will really tone down that sweetness. I've made it before. I know that's the sweetness level I want to have it at. And we're gonna add some sugar, stir it, take a taste, see how it goes. Enjoy another time lapse. As you can see, I almost had a volcano. What happened there is I created nucleation sites. What are nucleation sites? Well, here's the definition down here. That I should have remembered to degas before I added sugar. I only got 4 ounces of sugar in here, and I got way too much foam. The volcano, I'm lucky that it came up to the top and stopped and didn't overflow, because that would have been a damn shame. Now I'm gonna stir this. I'm gonna turn off the scale because I know I have 4 ounces of sugar in there, and I made a note of that. But now I'm going to stir this and see if I can get rid of some of that foam, which I'm not hopeful, but I need to dissolve the sugar that I put in anyway. So back to the time lapse. Okay, so I lied. I actually ended up only adding a half a pound of sugar because I'm running out of headroom, which isn't a bad thing because we're in secondary. But I'm also going to pasteurize this since I just added more fermentable sugars to this, and this is only at 11%. I know for a fact that I use Lalvin K1B1116, and we all know that that has an 18% alcohol tolerance, which means that's the level that the yeast should be able to get to, and after that they kind of stop. But as you've heard many people say, yeast don't know how to read. They kind of do their own thing, so it's just kind of err on the side of caution. So we're gonna take a taste, and this is a half a pound of sugar, so let's see what we're working with now. It needs more sweetness. It needs more. So I'm gonna go through, but now that we've added the sugar, the grape comes out. Yeah. The grape is now more up front, kind of paired even with the cranberry. So I think I'm gonna add another probably 4 ounces of sugar, and that'll be what I was originally intending on putting, which was 3/4 of a pound. I think we'll be there, but I'm not gonna make you sit here and watch it. I'm just gonna do it. I'll talk to you whenever we get this done, like right now. Okay, so we're at now like 12 ounces of sugar, 3/4 of a pound. And I need to make sure I get this fully dissolved so I can get an accurate gravity reading, because even though I am pasteurizing, which is gonna kill off any of the yeast colony that's still in here, even though I'm pasteurizing, we want a baseline to do our final check before this goes in bottles. You do not wanna make a bottle bomb. So to be even with I pasteurize, after I back sweeten, I'll take a gravity reading, pasteurize it, and then let it sit for about a week, then do another reading, make sure the gravity has not changed, and then it's really just waiting for it to be as clear as you want it before you put it into bottles. I have just recently started pasteurizing, and it's a game changer for me. It's no guesswork. I don't get paranoid that I'm gonna make a bottle bomb, especially whenever I give any of these out to, friends and family. I want to make sure I'm not handing them a ticking time bomb, no pun intended. As I'm stirring this, it is releasing CO2. There's a lot of gas in here, so I'm not too worried about oxidizing right now. So I'm gonna stir this up. I think I got everything dissolved, and that's the most important part. I think we're good to do another taste. Let's see how we did. Let's see what we got. 3/4 of a pound. I know, a lot of sugar. And now we're gonna do a gravity reading just to get a baseline after we back sweeten, and then you can kind of know. I'm not gonna act like I know where I'm at in the gravity, but I'm gonna say I know I put 3/4 of a pound in. I'm gonna say I'm around 1.026. That's my guess. Educated guess or an uneducated guess. I'm way off. I'm gonna say we're at 1.032. I'm gonna make a note of that so I don't forget it. Carefully pour this in, not because I don't want to oxidize. So I don't want to break that surface. Okay. I am kind of worried about pasteurizing this since I was so close to the top, and this does have quite a bit of gas in it. Sometimes, as I say, you have to risk it for the biscuits. This is gonna go upstairs in my sous vide raise the internal temperature up to 140 degrees for 22 minutes. Then it's done, comes back down here and cools off naturally and clears out. And then the next time you see this bad boy, it'll be bottling day. That's a whole other video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates on the cranberry wine and all of our other batches we got going on back here. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching and joining me down in my basement, and I'll catch you next time.